Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the Zoning and Planning Board meeting. Please rise to salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You got it. May I have roll call, June?
Leahammer.
Yes.
Dickinson.
Here.
Lucian. Here. Chowski.
Here.
Fullerton. Walperly.
Here.
Daly.
Here.
Ranieri.
Here.
Kapadas.
Here.
Pinellas.
Is excused.
Stone.
Here.
Rowan.
Here.
That is excused.
And Keith Knight.
Here.
Thank you. Public notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act has been given by the clerk in the following manner, posted on the bulletin board in the Borough Clerk's office, emailed to the Retrospect and Courier Post. First order of business is the approval of the minutes for the September 14th meeting. If you have any questions on the minutes? Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved, Madam
Second.
Mr. Dickinson and Mrs. Gushin, all in favor?
Chair.
Thank you. Motion carries. New business. Don't think we have any new business. My report, I don't necessarily have a report. I had a couple things we were going to just revisit. Mr. Dickinson had an opportunity to look into the tattoo business, and I'll defer to Mr. Dickinson on that.
I found it, and I was looking up, and there was something on the tablet that said the sample ordinances for tattoo pops. So I went and read it, and it's an ordinance that Mount Ephraim had adopted, right? And so I called the solicitor to find out. I tried to look them up on the E Code 360, but you can't find them. They don't use it. So if we want a sample ordinance like that, and I read it, because it's published online, quite extensive, and I think it would more than suit our purposes. But unless everybody has a copy, I just defer to that decision.
Mr. Ray, did you have
No, I
opportunity?
you did call me, and I
Right.
said apparently Mount Ephraim doesn't have their zoning ordinance online. A lot of communities do. I told them, we do have our own ordinance regarding tattoo establishments, which is pretty exhaustive, but I wasn't able to take a look at Mount Ephraim. I think at our last meeting, we discussed of whether we would recommend to the borough if we should designate, when the master plan is revised, or if there, even before that, a supplement to our land use ordinance of particular locations of where they would be
Correct.
designated permitted use.
Correct.
Right now, I don't think they're permitted use. I guess the argument could be made under personal service, which is kind of general, which.
No, we definitely want to designate where we're going to allow those. And Mayor, do we have a time that we have in mind to start reviewing the master plan?
Well, it's, when we start talking
6 years
about,
right now.
well, we're at the 7th year right now, and we're not obligated to do a whole revamp, but I think that we should definitely look at it again. Maybe what we talked about where we add an extra zone or two, change, maybe have a C1 zone or a C2 zone or a business district zone. So where I think there were some concerns, both from this body and from the governing body, was, you're right, there's definitely a movement to say that tattoos are not necessarily a negative thing,
Right.
but there's still concern that you have to regulate it in some fashion. But I think in the next couple of months, we've talked at council about the redevelopment zone, and I think we can pair these other two ordinances and look at all of
Yeah, as we talked about the Black Horse Pike,
Yeah.
the lighting in Black Horse Pike. I mean, we really need to, I think, make an assertive effort to try to, pique some business interests, be it apartments, be it whatever. I think we need to deepen those properties and do something to get the Black Horse Pike, back on its feet again.
Yeah, so everything will start at council, but it'll come back to this board. So the redevelopment plan, all that stuff will go through this board and back through council to get approved. Any changes in the ordinance, the same thing. What we can do also is we can pull out, I do have a copy, got several copies of the last time we did a master plan review. And And Mr. Ranieri got copies of it, right? I made copies with all my tabs on it. There's
Yeah.
only about
Yeah.
90 tabs I put on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, so I highlighted areas where, now, we fixed a lot of this stuff over the past few years, both here and on council, but there's still things we can do. But if this board's willing to spend some time, we can definitely start to get some
And
things done.
if I may, I just, last call, because I did bring it up to council and let them know we're discussing it, we'd like to move forward with some possibly revision to our own ordinances. And everybody's, it seems to be open-minded. Most, I think the majority, but,
Well, I think if we need, I mean, I know sunshine laws are what they are, but I think we need to make a subcommittee here to work on that in conjunction with mayor and council. I think it's probably the most important thing that this body can do. You know, we certainly have a lot of work to do in town. We have a lot of empty properties, we have a lot of, you know, vacancies. We have a lot of things that we could improve on. I think if we just do a few changes, and I would be willing to do that. And
Well, if we just, the only thing is, we have someone coming in the next couple of weeks. There was a young woman who's done this in other communities, who I've reached out to, so hopefully that'll be the first step. Once we meet with her, and then come up with, and I agree with you, maybe a small group from here, a small group from council, and then, you know, at least hear what she has to say and see what we can do.
We don't have a redevelopment overlay yet, do we?
We do not, and that would be step one.
Yeah, which can be very important because it gives the borough a lot of leeway as far as tax advantages for people coming in, or you can offer a lot.
And a little bit of information I've gotten in the past couple of weeks. My first inclination was to really just look at the Black Horse Pike or whatever anybody thought. The problem with that is when you were too encompassing, you had to send letters out to all these people.
Yeah.
And I think it's tough to say to everybody, you know, who may be in an area who we might want to think that needs to be redeveloped, says, well, my property is fine, why are you picking on me? So I think it's important that we communicate well with everybody. And maybe what we do is maybe we're a little more specific in our zones, as opposed to simply saying, from here to here, we maybe just look at parcels or areas at a time.
Designate them.
And maybe even speak to the property owners ahead of time so that we don't have a lot of pushback. I think if we just send somebody a letter one day and they say that they're in the middle of a use change.
Yeah,
there's a lot of gray area.
Yeah,
A lot of gray
And
area.
there's a lot of misunderstanding of redevelopment with citizens also. They don't really, they think they're gonna lose their property, or they think
well, this board would be required to have a meeting, a public meeting. All this, I don't know if it's- I'm still learning about all these, what we're required to do. Public meeting here, there's several public meetings we have to have. So, yeah, why don't we have this preliminary meeting first, and then we'll set up a committee.
If you want me to attend, please let me know, I'll
Okay.
be happy to. And the other thing that we just wanted to touch base on, and it's still in its infancy, Mr. Knight let me know that the Dunkin' Donuts on Evesham Road near Triton High School is looking to do some improvements, and in that improvement plan is they would like to add a drive-through window, which is an ordinance that, you know, we changed a couple of years ago to allow conditional drive-throughs to be put in the Runnemede. Now, everything is going to be conditional. We told Mr. Mecca this evening that he would please go to them and tell them they cannot do any further work until they come in front of this board with a complete site plan. Everything's going to be conditional, especially given the fact that it's near a school. It's going to add traffic. It's going to add a lot of different idiosyncrasies to the traffic patterns. You have to make sure they have proper egress and ingress. And frankly,
Two county roads.
yeah, to county roads, and frankly, the Dunkin' Donuts in Oakland is a disaster. They got their drive-through put in about a year and a half ago, and the and the Dunkin' Donuts on Black Horse Pike is not much better. And I don't want to see that in front of me. There's nearly an accident every day when I go past on Oakland. There's not enough staging area for the vehicles. They're out in the street, they're stopped in the middle of the street. It just doesn't work. And if it's not going to work properly, then we're not going to approve it. You know, everything's going to be conditional. We can't do anything until it comes through this board. And I think that to be very diligent in protecting the kids in the community over at that area, because it is an area with an awful lot of foot traffic, and I'm very concerned about that. So we have asked Mr. Knight to instruct them to cease and desist any improvements on that property until they come in front of this board, whether that will be a month from now, 2 months from now, but that's our intention, so.
Any improvement that has to do with a drive-through. Obviously, if they're changing, they put tables in,
Yeah.
and they put what they put in, a canoe counter.
Right.
But anything, I think, what the chairman's saying, anything that has to do with it.
Side, that's the anticipation. of-
Exactly. That, I think, would be presumptive,
Can't do that.
to think that this board's going to automatically approve something.
Right. Just because they have the stuff. they don't-
Yeah, and when I put this, I prepped it.
They submitted their building plans with the drive-through included.
The window, but not the actual showing the cars or anything like that, right? They didn't show a site plan.
No, it was just for the interior.
But it looked like they were situating it
Oh, it's a
for.
drive-through. As soon as I saw that, that's why.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
I think that is a little presumptive.
It's not as cut and dry as it looks.
No, absolutely not.
And there's gonna be things as far as, if it's gonna need to do additional screening, if we're gonna have cars staged, and there's gonna be headlights, facing the houses on the avenue there across the street. You know, the ballparks are one thing, there's nobody over there, but there's 4 houses right across the street. You know, I'm not gonna wanna have headlights in their living room, 24/7, that's not right. So we really have to look at this closely. I mean, I'm all about pro-business, but we're gonna look at this closely and make sure we take our time and walk through this and make sure it's a good plan for the town. It's gotta be for the town first, not just for the business first. So, with that, anything on old business? Communications, we received, something from, Mr. Sweeney from Anthony's Water Rights requesting approval for selling Christmas trees. I think this has been a success in the past. We've never had any incidents with, Mr. Sweeney with selling Christmas trees, no complaints, so, I guess, we need to make a motion, Mr. Rowan?
Yeah, I think every other year, we just did it by a letter rather than.
I think every year we do see.
Do
a
a by
motion
motion, I
and then
can't remember what we did last
And
year.
then he has to.
But we don't do a resolution, then
Sign.
you just approve it, because I don't recall us ever doing a resolution. We can't do a resolution because he doesn't have an application, it's just a request.
Administrative approval?
Yeah, I mean, you can vote on that approval and
Okay.
send him a letter that's.
Okay, I make a motion for administrative approval to grant Mr. Sweeney. Do we have dates, June? On the correspondence, I don't have a copy of that with me.
I would assume it's probably the last week of
That's
December.
pretty
Until the last week of December.
Yes, it's October.
There goes that.
27th.
At least it's on Christmas Eve.
I'll let it go.
I would assume
I
that.
don't know, they start selling Christmas stuff earlier or July.
I'm trying to be by the book there, Mr. Daly.
30 to 40 days max.
Okay, so I make a motion to grant approval for Mr. Sweeney to sell Christmas trees at the Anthony's Water Ice Site for 40 days between November and December.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Ranieri. We have roll call, please.
Playhammer.
Yes?
Dickinson.
Yes.
Bushian. Yes. Chowski.
Yes.
Walperly.
Yes.
Daley.
Yes.
Ranieri.
Yes.
Lapidus.
Yes.
Stone.
Yes.
We also have correspondence from Steve Bachman Associates and John Pettit regarding Runnemede LLC. We'll receive Bob.
What is this, these letters in regards to?
When we gave the approval, there were certain things that they had to modify on the plan, and other conditions, and I think these were a series of letters between Bach and John's office that satisfied those
This
conditions.
is the Cooper?
Yeah, this is the Cooper.
Oh,
Remember, there were certain things on the site plan that John recommended changing, and they gave testimony that they were going to change it. These exchanges are.
Just reconcile that, basically, I
Yeah.
think.
Now, on John's last letter, there was a few other minor things that they had to adjust or show on the actual site plan. John wants them to show all the variances by ordinance number that they did receive approval for, and all the waivers. So they just have to do that. So it's really administrative between the two engineering firms.
I didn't either, Jim.
And again, it doesn't say on Mrs. Cooper or?
I think it's,
There's many points.
Alan doesn't mean anything.
L.N. Runnymede, that was the name of the,
I'll give you.
That's what they came in.
It came in as that application.
yeah, L.N. Runnymede.
Yeah, the only thing I've heard about this property is they're still waiting for some approval from the DOT. Has anybody heard that?
Apparently, by John's letter, they did get approval, but John wanted a copy
You
of it.
want to look at
They got approval, okay.
Yeah, it
It's
said
Chris,
we
I think,
are
is
receiving
waiting.
approved
That's
the,
fine. That's fine.
dot permits for access and lot consolidation. We asked that a copy of the approval be provided to our office. So apparently they did get it.
Oh, wow.
I don't see anything in the letter that
If you let
John
Chris
made
know,
a
I can
recommendation.
he got approved by the
I-
DOT.
What does?
I mean, I'm sure, apparently that's, yeah,
Because he usually says, you know, this board.
yeah, it looks like they got permission.
Okay. Good and welfare, at this point in time, we'll open up the meeting for anyone in the audience who wishes to speak on any matter. Please come forward, state your name and address, and be heard.
Seeing no one, I move we close the public portion of the meeting.
Have a second?
that. Second.
All right, motion by Mr. Dickinson, second by Mrs. Fusion. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, at this point in time, if there's any other business we want to discuss, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Mr. Chief Daly and Mr. Dickinson, all in favor? All
Aye.
right, adjourn at 7:17.